This topic is called dividing rational expressions. It's actually going to mimic quite a bit. If you know how to divide fractions, just with normal numbers, then you should be able to divide these as well. We'll go through the steps a little bit. Before we tackle that, I just want to remind you a couple rules of exponents. If you have something like m to the third and you're multiplying it times m to the seventh, what do you do with those exponents? You don't multiply them, you actually add them. So you'll end up with m to the 10th. The time that you do multiply exponents is when you have something like this. If you have a to the 5th power and you're raising it to the 7th power, you would multiply them. When you raise a power to a power, you multiply them. So you end up with a to the 35th. That's a 3. And that's a 5. Alright. So having said that, let's kind of go through one problem. The mnemonic device, if you want to call it that, when I multiply fractions to try to help me remember what to do, is I think of the word skip, flip, and multiply. And we will get to that in a minute. Skip, flip, and then multiply. That helps me remember. Because I know how to multiply fractions pretty good. Tops times tops and bottoms times bottoms. So if I can remember to skip, flip, and then just treat them like multiplying fractions, I'm good. Alright, so here's our first example. 3b over 4y divided by 15b cubed y to the 5th over 8y. So we need to we need to divide these guys. So the skip, flipping, and multiply, they call it skipping as the first step. I think of it as rewriting. So we're going to rewrite our first equation just as it is, not equation, term. First fraction gets rewritten. The flip applies to our second fraction. We're going to take this guy and we're going to flip it upside down. So we're now going to have 8y on the top, and on the bottom we're going to have 15b cubed y to the 5th. And so we've skipped, we've flipped, and now it's a multiplication problem now that we've flipped that second one. Again, there's another video on multiplying rational expressions. If you have done that, you should feel pretty confident. But let's go through it. My strategy is usually to multiply tops together, then multiply bottoms together, and then simplify whatever's left. So 3 times 8 is going to give us 24 on the top. We have a b and we have a y. Nothing to do with those except for copying them over. On the bottom we have 4 times 15. That's going to give us 60. We have a y to the 1 and a y to the 5th. And that's going to give us y to the 6th. That's Sage again. Somebody's running by. And then we have a b to the 3rd power. Alright, let me scoot this up a little bit so I have a little more room to write. So now that we've done all that multiplying out, what we want to do is simplify a little bit. We have a 24 over a 60, and we need to reduce those. They're not going to be able to divide out evenly. So 6 definitely goes into both. Let's see what that looks like. 6 goes into 24 4 times. 6 goes into 60 10 times. So we're going to have to reduce that again. I'll do that in a minute. If we look at our b's, we have a b on the top and a b cubed on the bottom. That's going to land us with a b squared on the bottom. If you're not sure how, go back to my other video. For the y's, we're going to end up with a y to the 5th in the bottom. And now we just need to clean up that 4/10. We should have reduced it by a little bit more. We're going to reduce it by 2 now. So we have 2/5 b squared y to the 5th. There you go. It's just like multiplying rational expressions. You just have to set it up first. That's all you got to do. Skip, flip, and multiply. Alright, let's do another problem. Let's see, how about 9c over 10b to the 3rd divided by another fraction. This one will be 3c to the 5th over 2b squared c cubed. Alright, skip, flip, multiply. In other words, recopy, flip, and then multiply. Cool. Alright, tops times tops. 9 times 2 is 18. We're still going to have a b squared. We're going to have a c to the 4th. On the bottom, 10 times 3 gives us 30. b cubed, c to the 5th. Now we need to just take each set of things together. 18 over 30. We're going to divide that by 3. 18 divided by 3 gives us 6. 30 divided by 3. Alright, we're going to go and find another number. Yeah, I was going to divide them by 6. Sorry. 18 divided by 6 is 3. 30 divided by 6 is 5. There we go. For our b's, we have a b squared over b to the third. That's going to leave one b in the bottom. And for our c's, we have c to the fourth over c to the fifth. That's also going to leave one c in the bottom. And there we go. I'm going to try one more. When I go to write it out, I want you to write it out in your notebooks underneath the notes that you've taken for this. And then hit pause, work it out, and then hit play and see if you get the same answer that I get. Let's have 5, a to the 5th, b to the 7th, c to the 2nd power, over 2, b to the 3rd, c, divided by, let's do, it's not very straight, is it? 3, a to the 8th, b to the 2nd, c, over, we'll do 9, a, b to the 13th. So we're rewriting, flipping, multiplying. 5a to the 5th, b to the 7th, c squared, over 2b cubed c. Rewriting, flipping, 9a, b to the 13th, over 3a to the 8th, b squared, c, and turning this into multiplication. I took up a lot of room, didn't I? 9 times 5, 45. a to the 5th times a to the 1 gives me a to the 6th. b to the 7th times b to the 13th gives me a whopping b to the 20th. And c to the 2nd power is all by itself there. On the bottom, 3 times 2 is 6. For letters, we only have a to the 8th to worry about. For b's, we have b cubed and b squared, so that'll be b to the 5th. And then we have a c and a c, so it'll be c squared. Alright, so now what we want to do is reduce. Slide that guy up a little. 45 and 6. We're going to reduce those by 3. 3 goes into 45 15 times. 6 divided by 3 gives me 2. Oh, Sage is going to bark again, I think. I don't know, she's really hyper. Oh, there's a fly buzzing around her, poor thing. Alright, so she's not going to bark at the fly, that's good. Back to our problem. We have a to the 6th on top and a to the 8th on the bottom. So we're going to have 2 left over, and they're going to be left on the bottom. For our b's, we have 20 minus 5, which is going to give us 15, so that goes on the top. And our c's actually cancel right out. C squared with c squared, they both reduce, they cancel out to 1s. So that is all that we can do for these guys. And there you go. And I would suggest leaving your 5 over 2 as it is. A lot of people are tempted to put 7.5 somewhere, but then like they get confuzzled. Does it go on the top? Does it go on the bottom? Like where does it fit in? So I would just say leave it as a fraction. People don't like fractions, but most of the time if you get a fraction in math, you just leave it as long as it's reduced. Alright, one more final problem. If you haven't done this already, I would hit the pause button, write down the problem, then hit the pause button, work it out in your notebook, and then come back and see if we have the same correct answer. And let's do 2x over 3a divided by 4x over 9a squared x to the 4th. Alright, skip, flip, multiply. Copy, flip, and on the bottom we have 4x, and then turn it into multiplying. Tops times tops, 9 times 2, 18, a to the 2nd, x to the 5th. Bottoms times bottoms, 3 times 4 is 12, ax. Now we can reduce. 6 goes into 18 and 12. We get a 3 on the top and a 2 on the bottom. We're left over with 1a on the top and 4x, oh sorry, not 5, 4x's on the bottom. On the top, sorry. Trying to write and talk at the same time isn't always successful. Alright, there you go. If any of these felt weird or there's something you need clarified, come find me and I'll help you out. Thanks.